dry. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I watch you as you sleep. You don't know I'm looking. With you everything's complete. Do you know how much I love you? I put your favorite song on.
Is it just me, or are the Christmas decorations making an earlier appearance in stores this year? And does that bug anyone besides me? Since we have had such a whirlwind year with our move back in May, and since the whole year was about a month late with seasons, I'm finding that I don't even want to go there with even thinking about Christmas yet. I do know it's coming, and I have started my Christmas shopping. I learned a few years back that with as many kids as we have, there's no such thing as too early when it comes to getting started with the Christmas shopping. I still want to savor fall for a little while before even thinking too much about all the Christmas decor. After all, we haven't even had Thanksgiving yet. One of the reasons I'm stepping up my game on fall decorating this year is because I am delighted to be hosting Thanksgiving this year in our new home for some of our family members. I've been menu planning away. My husband's going to be making a brisket for Thanksgiving, and the kids and I are going to make pies and other Thanksgiving goodies. Since we have homegrown red potatoes, I'll probably make rosemary garlic roasted potatoes and probably some herby sourdough focaccia. Let me know if you would like any of those recipes in time for Christmas. Speaking of recipes, last weekend we went to some of my oldest friends' home and they hosted a cider party and a chili cook-off. I brought my vegetarian chili and was actually not even going to enter it because I didn't feel like it was that good. But I'm not a very good judge when it comes to chili because I'm not a chili fan. Chili is one of my most favorite meals to make for my family because they all love it, but it's my least favorite meal to eat. I guess I must just be a really bad chili connoisseur though, because I forgot to tell my friend that I didn't think the chili was very good and I didn't want it entered, and she entered it and I won first place. Oh my gosh, I was so shocked I didn't know what to do or how to behave. I was so confused and in disbelief when they called my name. After I came home and the initial shock wore off, I asked you guys if you would like the recipe, and 95% of 41 voters in my community tab said they would like that recipe. But first, before I dive into that recipe, let's take a look at some of the fall decorating festivities. As a homeschool mama, I haven't had time to really decorate for fall in years, but a couple of years back I learned that I could designate the fun fall decorating festivities to my kids. And I learned that this is actually a lot more fun for them. One year the kids made the cutest fall leaf art and beautiful fall crowns. They did need my help with the crowns, but those are just a couple fun and creative yet affordable ideas that you can do among many. The year we did that, we also went to the pumpkin patch and corn maze, although that was a lot of fun and definitely worth doing again. It was expensive for our bigger family. This year we are most certainly watching our expenses since we have so much work to do on our home still, and also because of how the economy is. I have been dreaming up ways to decorate beautifully while using what we already have. Since we have moved and live in the mountains now, we have some really beautiful and unique decorating materials growing naturally that we can work with. I think we found some pretty special ideas almost anyone can do that has access to a forest area or park. Of course, you can do things like leaf art and affordable crafts. You can also use items from a simple nature walk. Just make sure there's no critters on them when you bring them into the house though. So we actually had some corn from our garden growing and we decided to dress up the front of our home with it. We still have so much work to do on our front porch, so I didn't spend too much time trying to dress it up. But I did do the best I could with what we have, and I think it looks okay, especially with all that firewood stocked up to keep us warm. I know it's not the most Pinteresty scene, but it does make me happy and it is cozy. One of my favorite things to use for fall decor though is pumpkins, apples, and fruit produce from the garden, because once we're done using them, we can eat them. Us big family mamas on budgets appreciate things like that. I had a lot of fun decorating our wood cook stove over here too. I just love this stove. Oh, the white pumpkins with the black stove. I love it. We've only used this stove one time so far. We're going to need to use it again soon, but I think I probably have a couple weeks where we can just use the stove downstairs. And I have at least a couple weeks before we probably need to fire this one up for good. In the meantime, this is what it's gonna look like. I think it looks nice. So hey, let's dive into that chili recipe that I have for you today. As you can see, our kitchen is still under construction. We've been remodeling it and putting in the new kitchen almost since we moved in. The cabinets have all been installed. They're crafts-made cabinets that we got from my brother, who is a consultant, and they are just wonderful. I can't believe how much storage space I have now in these. Anyways, the cabinets are all installed. Now we just have to get the countertops put in. Hopefully they will be in before Thanksgiving. Right now we definitely have a hodgepodge countertop situation. We have 4 different countertops that are just kind of tacked into place for the time being so that I have a surface to cook on. I'm actually no stranger to a hodgepodge kitchen though. For most of my motherhood and homemaking life for 18 years, for most of that, I have had hodgepodge kitchens. I found this recipe initially in a cookbook called Sundays at MOOSEWOOD Restaurant, and I will link to that cookbook below. I highly recommend it, especially if you're a family that enjoys getting your culture by eating around the world, so to speak. I stopped following the recipe around 10 years ago though and started going off of memory. Eventually I started adding this and that, and I have now strayed what I know is almost unrecognizably far from the original recipe. So I'm going to share my rendition of the recipe with you today, but I still recommend getting that cookbook so you can make the original and for the other recipes in the cookbook. You're going to want to start with 2 quarts of beans. You can use any bean. For the prize-winning chili, you want black beans though. I used all of my black beans for that prize-winning chili and I'm all out. So today I'm using red beans. I like to soak my beans for at least 24 hours before cooking with them. After they have soaked, simply strain them and cook them. I like to use the Instant Pot, but I found that when I do, I need to use 1 cup less beans because 8 cups doesn't fit in the Instant Pot. The Instant Pot does make the creamiest beans. If you're doubling the recipe, you'll want to do this on the stove though. While the beans are cooking, you do not want to add vinegar or more than a very small pinch of salt, because those things can stop the beans cooking process and make the skins and the beans really tough. Once the beans are cooked, I like to add around 1 gallon of water. You can add more or less. You can use vegetable broth too. Next, add a whole clove of garlic and about 3 onions that have been chopped and sauteed. Chili powder, and about 1/4 cup of cumin. Next, I add 3 6-ounce cans of tomato paste. And then I add a 32-ounce jar of green chilies. I like the 505 brand. I like to add around 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar and about 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, plus the juice from about 3 limes. I like to put this in at the end. You do not have to add these next 3 ingredients, but I highly recommend that you do. They definitely give the chili an extra kick. I like to add around 2 to 3 cups of diced tomatillos and a whole handful or bunch of cilantro. And I know that a lot of people can't stand cilantro. Some people love it, some people hate it. But the thing about cilantro leaves are that once you cook them, the flavor profile does change. And even cilantro haters won't know what's in there. Something I should probably tell you about this chili is that it is not for the faint of heart. Our whole family likes spice. Me and about half of my children like it pretty spicy. My husband and the other half of the children like it less spicy, but still spicy. Something I forgot to mention to add to the soup is salt to taste. I love Celtic salt for this. Celtic salt is one of my favorite salts to use. I think it just has a special flavor. I will have this recipe and a printable version for you on my blog. I will link to that below for you. Thank you for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.